What's up, everybody? We are here live. This is the Fryar Place at the Code, 939 North Delaware Avenue. This is the first Friday of the month, February. Year is moving fast, isn't it? January is already gone. And have a great guest with me tonight. Most of you know who he is, probably. If you don't, and you live in the Philadelphia area or the tri-state area, you'll probably have your head in the sand. But he's a very familiar name. He is a famous former Eagle. And in case you don't know his work and how good he really was, we're going to show you a little highlight film. Now.
A lot of time, going deep. All the defenders falling down. Touchdown. This time, Jaworski has a lot of time. And Mike Quick makes the ball, stays in bounds. Quick is down the sideline, and Jaworski on play action. A lot of time, going deep for Quick. Quick's there, Mike Quick.
Touchdown. Quick was in motion. Giants are in a blitz. Jaworski looking for Quick. Touchdown. Showing a blitz. Jaworski going for Quick. Quick has it. He was going to work on first down. Going deep for Quick. He's got Mike Quick, and Mike Quick will not be caught.
Brought them inside the 10, ended with a fumble. Here's Carmichael, who will now throw the ball for Quick. Oh, and a
And into the end zone. With Haddix in the backfield. They got it. That's Quick.
Great drop, and Mike Quick has the ball. And a touchdown.
There's a lot more I could have shown you because there's a lot more highlights of this man that's sitting right next to me. He is my friend, someone I admire, someone I cherish, former NFL wide receiver, #1 draft pick in 1982 out of North Carolina State. You're the 20th pick with the Eagles. 9 years as an Eagle, 9 years in the NFL, 2-time, first-time All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler, NFL receiving yard leader in 1983, 1,409 yards. You were rolling, Doc.
Yeah.
And Philadelphia Eagles Hall of Famer. And currently, he is the color commentator for the Eagles games, WIP 94.1, with his co-host, Merle Reese. My brother, Mike Quick. He's in the house. Y'all go. Oh, we do have a live crowd here. Yeah, we do have a live crowd here. Listen, I need to say something.
Hold on, man. Thank you. That's a pretty cool introduction. I really appreciate that. And thanks to all of you guys for coming out.
See, you trying to take over my show already.
No, I'm just saying thank you.
Look,
I'm a gracious guy, and I appreciate people.
you do your thing on WIP. This is my thing.
All right.
You follow my lead.
All right, my bad.
Listen.
I'm not good with that, though. Go ahead.
I know you're not. But I have to say something, and you know what I'm getting ready to say. I'm not going to say it the way I normally say it. But this cat here, this young man, and one of the most terrible times of my life, one of the most difficult times, or the most difficult time of my life, reached out to me and made sure I was all right. There were a lot of people who said they were my friends. There were a lot of people who said they were on my side. But this guy right here made sure that he got in touch with me and made sure I was okay. And ever since then, man, it's just been, our relationship has gone to another level. So I just want to say thank you, brother, because you are a true friend. You know, friendship doesn't really mean anything when it's convenient. It's when it's inconvenient.
Yeah.
That's when true friendship matters, and that's when true friendship shows up. So, brother, I just want to thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
I really appreciate that. And for me, it was nothing because if you're my guy, you're my guy. And that's just the way it is. We all go through things in our lives, and I've certainly gone through things. And I'm happy that I was able to connect with you during that time, and just to let you know that you still have people on your side, for sure.
Well, I appreciate it. We're here at the Code, y'all. This is a great time, great podcast. We're going to talk about this man, not just football. I know some of you have some football questions. We're going to ask anybody who's in the live audience. If you have any questions you want to ask Mike as the podcast continues, please feel free to come up to India over here, tap her on the shoulder, and let her know that you have a question you want to ask, and we'll address your question. But until then, we're going to start out talking about you a little bit. I know they have some Eagles questions. You know, you're right there watching the team, and you're there every week. We're not going to talk about that right now because it's depressing. It's depressing. It's been a long season. It really has. And I had plans for this time of the season, and obviously my plans have changed because there's no more Eagles football.
Same.
Yeah, it's the same. So listen, 9 years in the NFL.
Yeah.
You're a 5-time Pro Bowler. You made the Pro Bowl 5 times, 2-time first team All-Pro in 9 years. But then you stopped playing after 9 years. You were rolling. You were on your way to a Hall of Fame career.
Correct.
It would have been you and Harold Carmichael in the Hall of Fame as former Eagles players. But your career got cut short. I'm not sure if everybody knows how and why you stopped playing ball.
I mainly stopped because I got old.
You wasn't that old, man. You might be old now, but you wasn't that old then.
So what happens, and I'll say this about any football player, is that when your wheels go, when your legs go, you need to find something else to do. And that really was the case with me. I played my entire career at Vet Stadium.
Right.
And on that Vet Stadium turf, I think it just takes a lot out of you in terms of longevity. So I played the 9 years, but probably the last year that I played, I could tell that, that after 3 different knee procedures that it wasn't going to be much longer that I would be able to play because it just takes a toll on you. That's a lot of mileage over those 9 years.
Right,
You read some of the stats, but with all of that, there's all of these days of practicing and taking yourself through the rigors of the NFL and the NFL life, and it just, at some point, it takes all of us down.
And you didn't have a coach. You weren't playing for a coach that took it easy like they do today.
We don't even need
Dick Vermeil?
So not only the coaches, but the collective bargaining agreement that makes it easier now for players, and they should be able to last longer because you're not allowed to practice guys but a certain amount. So when I came in the league, when you came in the league, training camps were 4 weeks and 6 weeks, and we had to practice for 3 hours.
Twice a day.
Yeah, twice a day in training camp, in pads.
Yeah.
And I had Dick Vermeil, then I had Marion Campbell and Buddy Ryan. And all of these head coaches that I had
were crazy.
They were guys that wanted they wanted to break you down throughout training camp, and then at some point, 3-4 weeks into the season, your body starts to come back and feel kind of normal.
Right.
That's not the way it's done now. And I don't know which is better. I know in terms of playing longer and what happens to guys after the game, probably the way they do it now is better. But
I'm not so sure that the way they do it now allows the athletes to maximize themselves in game situations.
I agree with
we
that.
used to callous, what we did in training camp for those 4 or 6 weeks and playing in preseason games, 3, 4, 5 preseason games, not 3, 4 or 5 preseason games, but starters only played, most of them, but not all of them. But our bodies got calloused, and we were ready to, when the season started,
that is correct,
to hit the ground running. As opposed to now, when you watch the NFL, the first 2 or 3 games of the regular season almost seem like preseason games because the starters are playing at that point.
So it's interesting you say that. I was talking to my boy Seth Joyner the other day, and he was talking about, I would take my forearm and I would land it on somebody, and at that first time in training camp, it hurts.
Right.
But after about 3 weeks, I could take that forearm and I could shiver somebody, and
keep on rolling.
Their head is spinning and I don't even feel it.
Right.
Because of the callus, because of the way we train. And once you train your body that way, you're hardened and you can do more and your body can withstand more. That's just the way I feel because that's how I grew up in the league. It's a different game today, and it's a softer game, and we know that. And we played when men were men. I don't know.
Is that what it was? Okay, but you know what? What you're saying, I'm having somewhat of a little bit of a eye-opening a thing going on in my mind right now, and applying that to life. The more you go through in life, the more you're able to overcome in life, the more you're able to do.
I agree.
The higher you're able to achieve.
Yeah.
The farther you're able to go.
Yeah.
So it's not just about taking the easy way out.
Yeah.
It's about, sometimes you got to go up the mountain. Sometimes you got to cross that wide river. Sometimes you got to go down in the valley because that's what makes you better.
See, I think the guys before us, I would have to tip my hat. I think that they might have been even a little tougher because they had to deal with more. They had to go through more. I know my sons are smarter, but I don't know if they have the intestinal fortitude. I don't know if they have the dog in them that I had in me as a kid growing up. And like when I came into the league, my whole mindset was, I don't care who lines up in front of me. You better bring your lunch.
He gonna get it.
Yeah, you're gonna get work today.
gonna
You
get
line up on me, you're gonna get work today.
Right.
That was just my approach to the game.
Right.
Because I was hungry. You know, I came from really nothing, and when I have this major opportunity in front of me to play in the National Football League, an opportunity to live my dream, I'm gonna lick it. I'm gonna maximize this thing. I'm gonna make it work.
Well, you went there, so I'm on card 2 right now, but you went to card 5.
Well, look.
So since you went there, since you went there, about you growing up, you know, I know that you grew up. You were raised in North Carolina in humble beginnings.
Sure.
Talk about when you were a child and your parents and your siblings. It was 9 of y'all.
So there was 9.
Yeah.
But then here's the thing. This is how my mom was. My mom was that lady in the neighborhood that she took care of everybody. They called her Mother Quick because Mother Quick, you could go to Mother Quick's house, and regardless, she got to feed 9. But if you come, she's gonna feed you too.
Right.
I used to hate that stuff. Man, I'll be coming over my house when it's dinner time. I said, no, Mom. So, yeah, I have 9 brothers and sisters, but my mom also adopted or took in her sister's son.
Wow.
Her sister had 4 daughters and a boy. She didn't want to raise the boy, so my mom said, give him to me.
Wow.
They came from Harlem one summer to stay with us, and he never went back.
Wow.
And he was 5 years old and never went back. And we grew up, he and I grew up like we were twins. We were the same age. We grew up together, went to school, and that's kind of how I grew up. But when I was, all right, I'm going to take you all the way there. You asked.
Okay. Tell us. That's what it's about. That's what the Fryar Place is about.
I'm going to give it to you. In my house, there was a boys' room where all the boys slept, and there was a girls' room where the girls slept, and then my mom slept in like it was basically the living room. There was only 4 rooms in the place, and the other room was the kitchen. And so you talk about humble beginnings, that's where I started. And I think it was second grade, third grade, that place burned to the ground, and everything that we had except what was on our backs that day was lost. So I'm one of these guys, I don't have baby pictures of me. I don't have little pictures that most of us have, because all of that stuff was gone in that fire. We moved from then to different, so my mom was always in the church, so we're separated in like 3 different homes, 3 different like members of the church, like kept us for a while until we got a place.
Right.
Then we go to the projects, and I basically from like 2nd grade until I made money, we lived in the projects. But when I realized that I was about to make money, I had Mom like, go look for a house because we're getting out of here. And so now we have a homestead. So it's the main property. I got another property here. My brother has a property here. My other brother has a property here. So we got this big, quick compound.
It's the quick complex.
We got a compound where I live. Well, in my property's in North Carolina now. Yeah, so.
Get more bang for your buck down there too.
Yeah.
I had an uncle when I made it into the pros. I had an uncle. He said, you know, your aunt's son came and moved in and didn't leave. I had an uncle when I made it to the pros that moved in. He didn't leave. He didn't leave.
That's
I'm
what
like,
happens.
he showed up just moved in and didn't leave.
Yeah.
And he was with me for like 10, 15 years when I was playing in the pros. I'm like, when you going home? Well, you got money.
I am home.
I am home.
Yeah.
So
it was different once I got to the league.
When did you realize, you know, you talk about when you got money, obviously that's when you made it to the pros. When did you realize, because you're a great athlete, at the age of 18, you were a world-class hurdler, but you also played basketball along with football, and you thought, or it's written that you were going to go to college to play basketball. So when did you make the decision, or when did you find out it was going to be football?
So, interestingly enough, I had a lot of issues going on because of the different sports and the people were pulling me in different directions.
You know what they say about issues, right?
What?
When you have an issue,
What?
it's you.
It's me? Well, you're right. You're right. Because it really boiled down to me, and you're right. Issue, I had to make a decision.
Right.
But everyone, like, people pulling me to play basketball, like, yeah, you should go to the Olympics because blah, blah, blah. When I decided to play football, like, there were people that, like, got mad at me. And when I decided to go to to North Carolina State rather than the University of North Carolina, my brother Dennis was at the University of North Carolina. He was just graduating. There are friends of mine that, because in North Carolina, you're either a Wolfpack or you're Tar Heel.
Right.
And the rivalry is so strong, it's like blood wars.
Like Hatfields and McCoys.
Yeah, like Hatfield and McCoys. When I decided to go to NC State rather than Carolina, there were people that really got pissed off at me and didn't want to talk to me because I made this decision that I wanted to go to NC State rather than Carolina. But after high school, I'm one of these kids that really didn't. I went to school every day just because I wanted to go to practice.
Okay.
But I wasn't into school.
Neither was I.
Yeah, I wasn't into it. But because of that, I ended up going to a military academy and I prepped for a year. I went down to Fork Union Military Academy, and at the academy, I realized that because there are people from all over the world, not just the country, at the academy.
Right.
There are runners from Kenya and like Ben Jipjo and Kip Keno, the distance runners from back in the day.
Yeah.
They had relatives at Fork Union Military Academy that ran at Fork Union. So I got these people from all over the country, all over the world that I'm competing against. And I'd heard so much about some of these guys, especially one of the basketball players. But then once I realized, like, this guy is the guy that they talk so much about, and I'm crushing him every day. I'm crushing him every day. And so I started to realize that, okay, my high school coach who recommended Fork Union, he really knew what he was doing because he knew that I had something in me that I couldn't see.
Right.
I was too young, too immature to understand how talented I was at the time. But he talked me into going to Fork Union. I go to Fork Union, and after that year in the academy, I got bigger, I got stronger. They make you get in the books. I'd never been on the Dean's List honor roll, so now I'm on the honor roll, and I'm on the Dean's List. And of course, I can, if someone leads me to it and forces me to do it, I have the capacity to do it. So after that year in the academy, I could have gone to almost any school in the country. But because I'm away in this boys' school, and there are no girls.
Say it. Say it.
I had this girlfriend back home, and I'm thinking, like, all these schools from all over. Every day I go to practice, and like, quick, they want you to talk to and I'm gotta sit and talk to these guys. So I finally just told the coach that, hey man, when I go to college, I'm going back to North Carolina.
I'm getting out of here.
Yeah, I'm not going to all these different schools. So just let these guys know that. So I did this. I'm gonna tell you when. Lefty Giselle, who was the head basketball coach at Maryland at the time, he came to work out our big guy. Our big guy was Dale Solomon. He was 6'8". He ended up being drafted by the Sixers, but he played in Europe for a lot of these, like 12 years in Europe. They came in to work out Solomon, and they asked me, quick, because they're working out Solomon, come in. So Lefty comes in, works out Solomon, but I was on fire that day. So he also wanted to talk to me after the practice. But after that conversation, I said, I'm not going to college to play basketball. I'm going to play football.
All right.
I don't want to keep talking to these college coaches about basketball. I've decided I'm going to play football, and that's when I stopped talking to all the colleges. I visited 2 schools. I visited NC State, and I visited the University of North Carolina, where my brother had just graduated from.
Nice.
And I was going to make the decision to go back to North Carolina and go to school in North Carolina.
And that's the story.
That's all I got.
That's all I got. Well, listen, I got to pay some bills. I got to read. I just got this, so you all bear with me, please, on this read. Ed Smooth Transport. Yup.
I met Ed already.
Yeah, Ed's here.
There he is.
let me
Ed's
let you
smooth.
let me let you in on a service that I use that you need to treat yourself to. This is everybody who's listening, everybody who's watching. Many of you have special occasions coming up for some type of celebration. Valentine's Day is coming up, fellas. Valentine's Day is coming up, sisters. All right. You don't want to be responsible for driving, not these celebrations. Ed's Smooth. That's SMOOV. Smooth Transport is at the top of the class when it comes to transport. Where are you going, Mike?
I just wanted to see what they're eating.
When it comes to transport services, and they will wow you with their professionalism and comfort. Clean, smells good, feels good, comfortable. Check them out, y'all. They can be reached at 609-471-2653, or check out their website at smooftransport.com. That's SMOOV transport.com. If you're in South Jersey and you book a trip before February 29th and you mention the fact that Irving Fryar sent you, you'll receive a 10% off your first ride. Ed Smooth Transport is just that. Y'all, it's smooth. Yes, it is. 609-471-2653 and tell them Irving Fryar sent you. And we back.
Smooth.
That was pretty good, huh? For the first time. Yeah, that's all right. So listen, college, you go to the military school, you go back to NC State.
It was a school for bad boys too. Like it was some bad dudes in there.
Yeah, but you know
like
what?
They got kicked out of all the other schools, so they sent them to
Well, that's
Fort
why they said
Union.
military school.
Yeah.
But that was a school, I've heard you say before, that experience in that school has an impact on you today.
Changed my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that school changed my life because I just the discipline aspect. So I was disciplined early in the fact that if there was a football practice, I was going to be there. I was going to be there on time. If there was a basketball practice, I was going to make a way. I was going to get there. So that type of discipline I had. But there were some other things that I didn't have that I felt like Fork Union really helped me with. And you're right. Some of the things that I learned there, I still practice today. Like there was an inspection of your room, your barracks every morning. So my shoes had to be bloused and in the right position. My shirts had to be hanging the right way. My socks in the drawers had to be folded the right way. Everything has to be in place and in proper. So some of those things that I gathered from that experience, I still, yeah. If you go to my house right now, you look in my closet, all my shirts are hanging the same way. All my jackets, That's
a good thing.
That's something that, just the lessons that I learned there, I think really helped me.
Nice.
And kind of propelled me in life, and some of the disciplines that I learned there, I think. And the people there were so good. There weren't many black kids there. I was one of the few, but I still have a lot of love for the people there because of the way they treated me, the way they handled me. I was a nobody. I was really talented, and I guess they knew that. They were able to enjoy that, and I was able to get a really good education and a really good footing for the next phase of my life.
So talk about, you go from college, now you're in the pros. First round draft choice, that only happens to few people.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen to many people.
Yeah. Happened to you.
Well,
I was the first round pick, but you were the first overall selection.
I told
that's
you.
That's a different dude.
I told you.
I told you. I was good, but that's a whole different level. You're like the first. Like when the draft starts, like everybody's talking about who's gonna be the first pick because he didn't get all the money. That dude was you. Let me get a loan, bro.
I told you this is my show, not your show.
I'm just saying.
But
if we're
listen,
gonna talk, we're gonna talk.
Okay, we're gonna talk. I'm just messing with you. But you balling. You come into the pros.
Yep.
You know you're gonna make some money. You get, you take care of your family and all that, like we're supposed to.
Hungry.
You're doing the right things, and you're balling, man. And you're exceptional. It's not like you're just an average wide receiver in the NFL.
Right.
Like I said, in your 9 years in the NFL, 5 Pro Bowls, 2-time, first-time, all Pro, all NFL, and your career is cut short because playing on the turf. And I used to play tricks on myself because when I came here, I had already been in the league for 12 years.
Right.
I had already been in the league 12 years, and I had to come here and play on this turf. I would play tricks on on myself, and I told myself, well, playing on the turf makes me tougher. Playing on this vet turf, I did. I just lied to myself.
Yeah, you did.
And it kept me from getting hurt, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's what I did. Anyway, what was the transition like for you? What was your mindset when you realized, okay, it's over? I really could play another 4 or 5 years at a high level.
Yeah.
But now I'm not able to. What was your mindset? What take us through that whole, that first off season when now you're not playing. It's the season, it's rolling around. You're not training because you can't play. You know you're not going to play. Now the season started, you're not playing, but you can play, if it weren't for your knees. What was that transition like?
No. Father Time had caught up to me, and I knew that. And it was hard because, man, it's that I think is the hardest thing that guys are going to deal with that play in the league. And I see it in Jason Kelsey right now. It's such a tough thing to walk away from it, and when everybody else goes to training camp and the season starts and you've been a part of it for so long and then you're no longer part of it, it takes a lot out of it. It's depressing. I think I had mood swings. I think that
I still have mood swings. I've been out for 20-some years. I still have mood swings.
So I just
nightmares about playing football.
Yeah. And I had a lot of that. Had a lot of dreams like I got to get ready for training camp, and I wake up in a sweat. I'm like,
It's like my dream is I'm always late.
I'm late for training
17
camp.
years. I've never been late for a meeting. Never been late for practice. But I have these dreams to this day.
Right.
Playing football, and I can't find my uniform, and I'm late for practice, late for the game.
I still have that. It's crazy.
Something's wrong.
Look, we got gray beards now, and I'm still having these dreams. Like,
I'm still having them too,
I got to get ready for training camp.
Yeah.
But one of the things I think about is like in my dreams, it's a new system, and I got to learn a new system, and I got to get
one too,
like all of this different
and
things.
you can't figure it out.
And you can't figure it out. So it was a hard transition, but what was good for me was that my last year playing, I knew that I was getting to that point.
Okay.
And I had already started to do some things outside of the game that I thought would like take me into where I was going to go when I stopped playing.
Weren't you a communications major?
I studied communications,
Mm-hmm.
So, but I had a good friend, and we started a business together that it was good for a little while, but I didn't like it. I didn't like dealing with the people in the business. I would make these sales calls, and I go into these guys, and they're sitting behind their desk, and they're probably making $100,000 a year or whatever they're making. Didn't matter. But I'm sitting in this guy's desk, and I'm asking him for business, and they're looking at me. First of all, they want me to sign autographs and sign all this crap for them. So once I sign all the crap and I sit down and have conversation with them, and I don't get contracts out of the situation, and I don't like this guy anyway. I'm thinking, why am I putting myself through this?
Right, yeah.
So eventually, I just kind of like got out of that. But what really happened that helped me was when Comcast Sportsnet first started, they came to me and asked me if I would do a segment. They named the segment Mondays with Mike. So after the Eagles would play, I would go over to Comcast studio and I would sit down and I would tell them what I thought of the game yesterday and break down what, the good, the bad, the ugly of the game. And that's how I started in Philadelphia as an analyst, like working for Comcast Sportsnet. Fast forward, a few years later, I get a call out of the blue. And at this time, I'm really, I'm done with the business. I'm really done with it. I'm still in it, but I'm done with it. And I kind of started to wean myself away from that and let my partner take over. And he enjoyed the business. His background, he's an electrical engineer by trade, a sales guy. So he enjoyed the business. So yeah, you do that. I'm gonna go do this now. So went to Comcast, and then I got this call out of the blue one day, and it's Merrill Reese, my now partner for 26 years.
Yeah, man.
So Merrill calls me and he says, the radio station, they're looking for a new analyst because Stan Walters, who's the guy at the time, he's moving to England.
Who moves to England?
Well, listen.
What?
Listen.
They were paying that kind of money he could retire in England? Who moves to England?
Listen, he had the best situation ever.
Wow.
His wife was a big executive. She's
Okay.
making millions.
Oh, okay, well, yeah.
All he had to do was say,
Where we going, baby?
Exactly.
Where we going, baby?
she says, we got to pack bags. Honey, which bag you want me to pack?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pack a bag. So his wife, she was with a big company, moved them to England, and so Stan had to give up the broadcast. They called me. You know, unbeknownst to me, all of these guys are sending in tapes. They're trying to do their little spill to get this job as the analyst on radio for the Eagles broadcast. I knew nothing about it. I'm going on about my business, doing what I do. And after that call from Merrill, I get a call from one of the executives at the radio station. I said, yeah, I'll come in and talk to you about it. So I go in and I talk to him about it. And so they made the mistake of asking me, well, what would it take?
How much money you want? How much money you want?
So
yeah.
they made that mistake. So
Yeah,
what would
money
it
talk,
take?
baby.
What would it take? So I'm thinking, what would it take? Listen, I'm good in what I'm doing, and I'll just do what I'm doing. But if you're asking me what would it take, this is my number. This is what it would take. And the guy says, well, that's twice as much as the guy that... He said, that's more than twice as what the guy was making. So I said, well, you ask me what would it take. Like, I'm comfortable where I am.
Right.
And if you want me to give up what I'm doing, I didn't like what I was doing anyway. If you don't want me to give up what I'm doing, this is, you know, I can negotiate. But this is, you know, that's what it'll take for me. He said, okay, well, I'll get back to you on Wednesday. Well, Wednesday he didn't call. Thursday I started worry.
He's all
So I get a call on Friday, and he put it together. He said, well, this is what we're going to do. I have to, you know, steal from Peter to pay Paul, blah, 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 but we'll get you to that number. Cool, I'm in.
Wow.
I had no idea what I was getting myself
So
into.
what we know about Mike Quick is he's making more money after football than he ever made with his contract in football.
Well,
Because I'm sure that number wasn't less than what you were making playing football.
that's not totally untrue.
Not true. Yeah, it's not true. See? Yeah. So here's what I don't think everybody can appreciate, because everybody doesn't know this. Take us all. We hear you, the games, you and Merle, you guys do a great job. Been doing it for 26 years now.
Love it.
And you do a phenomenal job, do a great job of it. But people don't know a week with Mike Quick, what it takes you in that week before the game.
Yeah.
Take us through that week, what it takes for you to get ready to call the game.
So I won't take you back to the early part because I had no idea what I was doing. But here's what happened. My first year, I knew I was terrible. It was like, and I would listen to the tape, and it was like, you know, you scratch the blackboard and that. Like, did I say that? But after my first year, I went to NFL Films, and I got recordings of guys that do radio broadcasts. Mm-hmm. And I would ride around in my car all year, and I'm throwing in Joe Theismann and these different people that I would listen to, and I just wanted to get it.
Right.
You know, again, just like when I got to the NFL, mm-hmm. I got a golden opportunity right here. Mm-hmm. I want to lick this thing. I want to make sure. So I spend a lot of time just listening to other people. But what really helped me is when I started to format my work. So when I go to the stadium, any game, I now have a flip card that I put together myself.
Right.
And it has the Eagles offense on it, and it has, say, Washington's defense, and they're facing each other.
Right.
Just like those scouting reports we used to get when we played.
Yep.
So I'd have offense, defense facing each other, and have little notes about every possible player that could hit the field. Mm-hmm. And I'd have a little mark for coaches. Mm-hmm. I flip it over, and it's the same. It's Washington's offense to Eagles defense. Mm-hmm. Every week now, when I go into the booth, I have that, and it's information that I've put together, I've studied, names, because you have to have all the pronunciations correctly, and all of this, the stats, all the major stuff about guys, their school, years in the league, where they transitioned from, all of that stuff is on my chart. Once I put together...
How big is that chart?
Well, I write real small, but...
Bro, mine would have to be like this.
No, it's probably like this.
Okay.
I don't know what that means, what size it is, but I have these charts, and I have a lot of information that I've researched, Let me back up. On Wednesday, if we're playing Washington, Wednesday I'll get a FedEx from Washington's PR department. And in that, it has all of the details of all their players and coaches, et cetera. So the part that I feel like I need, I pull that out and I put it on my chart. Just like when we played, I look at Washington's last 3 games. So I go through there, see what they do. What do they do offensively? What do they do defensively?
He's talking about watching film, y'all. You watch the film of the last 3 games.
Watch the film of whoever they're playing. I watch the film of them. I don't know the amount of hours, but I put in a lot of hours before Sunday's game, and I do all of this. So Monday is when I first started to look at the next team. I'll take a break one of these days, Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, because you play golf on Tuesday.
Yeah, I got to play golf. I got to have time for that.
Yeah.
But then, like Wednesday, Thursdays are really heavy work days, and sometimes Friday, to make sure that I've looked at enough film. I've studied the opponent. I know who the personnel and all of my information is there. Friday, I'll usually go over to the Eagles practice and watch practice because that's the day that you'll find out, like they may start on Tuesday to have all the stuff that they're going to do, but by Friday, they've gotten rid of the stuff that they're not, and they're locked in on what they're going to use. Friday's practice I like to watch because I get a good feel for, what their plan is. And spend Saturday a little bit. Sunday morning, I usually get up real early and I go through the stuff, and then I go to the stadium and I feel like I'm ready.
So you actually work for a living?
Yeah. But you know what's cool about it? It's work that it's like if I wasn't doing this, I would read the paper about these people anyway and read about the sports and the games and stuff. I wouldn't know the details that I know.
Right.
Like when I go to the booth, but I would know a lot about because, it's what I like. And I get paid to talk about what I like.
That's awesome.
What a country.
Awesome. What a country. What a country. WIP. Hats off WIP for being that, for seeing the talent in you, seeing the ability in you.
So and Merrill, I don't know why, but Merrill, and I talked to him about this.
He's got to make it easier.
No, but he said, you can do this, because I don't want it. He said, no, I believe that you can do this. I think that you would be good at it. Okay, if you think I'll be good at it, I'll give it a shot. And so, 26 years later, that's my guy.
There you go. Just need to push.
And we sit in the booth and we talk football. And the cool thing is, it doesn't sound like the work that we put in because we're able to just sit there and talk about the game. But there's a lot that goes into it. And once the season starts, it's like a hamster on a wheel. My Mondays are the same. My Tuesdays are the same. My Wednesdays is back. Oh, Thursday, you got to do this. Friday, okay, you got to be there at a certain time because they have practice, and you just do the same thing.
Like when you
so
play,
it's a grind.
It's like when you play football.
It's like when we played, but it's the same discipline.
Right.
It is very much similar.
All right, we're done talking about you now.
Good.
All right.
Let's talk about you.
No, we ain't talking about me.
So how about the Harley?
No.
How about the Harley that they gave you?
They don't know about that.
So here's the deal.
Oh, so you gonna tell them?
So Irvin comes to Philadelphia after 12 years in the league, and I had I'd been retired a few years, and he comes to play for the Eagles. And what'd you play, 2 years in Philly?
I played 3 years. I broke a couple of your records.
All right, so what? So he plays 3 years in Philly.
Oh, you don't want to mention that.
All right, he broke a couple of my records. But
and I was older when I did it too. I was 34, 35 years old.
That doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Here's the deal. When I retired, they had a nice little ceremony. My family came up. Everybody was here. That was cool.
Lord have mercy.
And at the halftime ceremony,
what time is it?
They come out.
Supposed to be over yet?
They come out and they want to give me something. And so I'm involved in Big Brothers Big Sisters, the charity. So they make a donation to Big Brothers Big Sisters, and they didn't have anything really to give me. So they give me this golf bag. Yeah, I like golf, but damn. I mean, dog. They give me a golf bag, and the golf bag has no clubs in it. At least you can spring for a set of clubs if you're gonna give me a golf bag, don't you think? So, fast forward, I'm 9 years I sweat and blood on that turf. He comes in, plays 2 years, 3, okay. He really played 2, but 3.
What do you mean I played 2?
He
I
leaves.
played
He's
3.
gonna retire. They roll out this beautiful Harley Davidson motorcycle. I'm like, what the heck? Hey. They give him a Harley. I spent all my career in Philadelphia. They give me an empty golf bag. I'm doing something wrong. He rolls off on a Harley.
You sound bitter.
Hey, man, I got mine, but I'm just saying.
Let me tell you the story. Can I tell you the story behind that?
Please tell me the story.
Because people still ask me to this day, do I still have the Harley? And I don't have the Harley. Now,
well, I don't know that. But I still have the golf bag. but I know you got a Harley. You got a $30,000 bike. I got a $1,000 golf bag. It wasn't even that, probably $500. So what happened was, this was a new sample bag that the league had put out, and the bag was made out of the pigskin of the football. And it was real cool, so they sent it around to all the owners. So the owner at the time was Norman Brayman. He had nothing to give me. He looked over in the corner and said, "Here, let's give him this." It wasn't like It wasn't like they went to Bob's Harley and picked out a fat boy motorcycle and rolled out a fat boy.
Let me tell you the story, okay? Because everybody needs to know the story.
Please tell me the story. I need to know.
My third year, I had one more year left in my contract. My third year with the Eagles, we sucked. We were horrible. And I broke my big toe.
By the way, that was my first year broadcasting, and it was terrible.
Yeah, you were bad too. You were just as bad as
everything was bad.
Everything was bad. So I broke my big toe the second game of the season. I broke my sesamoid bone under my big toe. That's where your toe connects to your foot. That bone right there.
All right, doctor.
They told me that it was turf toe. So for the rest of the season, I'm getting needles in my toe before the games. In the front of my toe going down, it was horrible, absolutely horrible. About 3/4 of the way through the season, Tom Modrak came to me and said, listen, you're not playing the way we thought you would play. We're going to cut you at the end of the season. And I said, well, I got one more year. I really don't want to get cut. I haven't been cut before. I don't know if I can handle, my ego can handle that. So
I'd rather retire.
Yeah, I'd rather retire. He said, well, we'll retire you. We'll give you a motorcycle if you retire. I said, okay. I already had 3 motorcycles, but they gave me the motorcycle. Okay, I went out. Now it's off season. I had planned on going into broadcasting like you. It's the off season. I got an opportunity to go down to Florida and have a role in the Oliver Stone movie, Any Given Sunday.
Yeah.
So I go down and I'm doing Any Given Sunday, but I can't run the routes like I need to because now my toe is jacked up. All right, and then T.O. comes in and takes over my role. So when you see T.O. in Any Given Sunday, he actually carried my role on. I went and checked in with one of the doctors from Miami, and he examined my toe and says, you got a broken sesamoid bone. It's not turf toe. I was misdiagnosed. No wonder it hurt so much.
No, they knew.
Deion Sanders had the same injury. That year, and he didn't play the rest of the year. He took the whole year off. So I get my toe fixed, and now I'm kind of ticked off. So I prayed, and I said, well, God, if a team comes after me and they offer me this, this, and this, then I'll go back and play. I know it's you. I'll go back and play. The Redskins called me. The Redskins at the time, they're the Commanders now.
Got a motorcycle and still getting money.
And they offered me this, this, and this. So, and they were right down the road. So I said, okay, I'm going. When that happened, I called Mr. Lurie and told Mr. Lurie, listen, I'm going down to Washington, going to play for them. I'm going to give the motorcycle back to you. He said, no, don't keep the motorcycle. I said, okay, I'm not going to keep it. This is what I'm going to do. I sold the motorcycle, and I gave the money that I sold the motorcycle for to the Eagles Youth Partnership. That was their charity at the time.
Gotcha.
So that's what I did with the money.
All right, that's cool.
I don't have the motorcycle no more.
All right, I feel a little bit better. But let me make sure one thing is clear. So there were different owners, I will say that, because it was Norman Brayman that gave me the empty golf bag.
Okay, well, it wasn't Jeffrey Lurie.
Then when Jeffrey took over, he took everything to another level.
There you go.
That's why you got a motorcycle.
That's why I got a motorcycle. Right. It went 2 levels up.
But check this out. Norman Brayman owns all the car dealerships in Florida.
He could have gave you a car.
A Yugo. like anything.
So listen, before we get into a little bit of football talk, we're at the end of the podcast anyway, but before we get into a little football talk.
We don't need to talk football. I got other stuff to talk about.
I have a surprise for you.
Oh, God.
I have a surprise for you. You mentioned it. I know you work with the Big Brothers, Big Sisters, right?
Yeah.
You still working with the Big Brothers, Big Sisters?
So
Not
I'm
as
more,
much-
I'm more first tee now.
Okay, well that's where I was going.
Yeah.
I know you're big with First Tee. You have
Yeah.
your golf tournament every year. You
Yep.
sent me the flyer. Was that an invitation for me, or what?
Yeah, I
Well,
need
wait a
you-
minute, because I'm gonna tell them what happens every year with you and your golf tournament.
Stop
Now
that.
we're good buddies.
So,
we're good.
no.
No. I'm telling this. We're good buddies, right?
I just want to
So-
say this. My flyer for my golf tournament came out yesterday. And I just got it fresh,
Okay, what happened in the last 3 years?
fresh off the press.
What happened in the last 3
Fresh
years?
off the press.
What happened in the last 3 years?
Did you get the flyer today?
I got a flyer today.
Okay.
What happened in the last 3 years?
You were a late entry.
Let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you what happened in the last 3 years at his golf tournament. Now we're good buddies, no problem. His people, for some reason, don't like me. Whoever does his golf tournament, they just forget about Irving Fryar. So he'll give me a call 2 days before the tournament. Oh, somebody didn't come. Somebody's not coming. I need you to come for me. I need you to show up for me.
I did that
And
one time.
You did it twice.
One time.
You did it twice. And I showed up. And then last year I had to call him. Mike, I see your tournament's like next week. Just saying hi. Oh, you want to come to the tournament? Yeah.
No, I said, yo, you didn't get the information?
No, I didn't get the information.
And I said, okay,
He
need
made
you.
sure I got it this
I
year.
need
though.
you, yeah.
But this is what we're
Fresh
going
off
to
the
do.
press just yesterday, and he's got it already, just so you know.
But listen, I'm going to keep 2 of them because I have to. But I have 3 Mike Quick jerseys here. Can you bring it here to me, babe? I had 3 Mike Quick jerseys here today. This is what we're going to do. We're going to auction one of them off. He's going to sign it. We're going to auction one of them off, and the money's going to go to the First Tee in this golf tournament. All right? We're going to auction
All right.
one of these off
Don't make me buy it now.
tonight. no. Y'all
I will.
one of y'all are going to pay for this or auction, buy it. We're not going to do it live. We're going to do this after we get off air, and he's going to sign it for you, and the money will go to First Tee for his golf tournament.
Boom.
All right? And you're going to sign the other 2 for me. All right?
Cool.
So, real quick, because I know, does anybody have a question for Mike?
Somebody wanted to know who was the best golfer between the 2 of you guys.
Why did
So, yeah, that's a good
That was
question.
in the chat.
So, how long ago was that? 5 years ago?
I went on vacation for a while, so I didn't play.
You did
I didn't
go on
play golf.
vacation.
I didn't play golf for a little while.
He did go on vacation. But he said to me, this is the year. I'm going to beat you this year. I'm going to get you.
That was 5 years
That
ago.
was 5 years ago. I'm still waiting.
But we haven't played.
Yeah, you don't want this.
Oh.
There's smoke over here, baby.
Smoke. Okay, all right. So we're gonna play this year.
Yeah,
we're gonna
we're
play
gonna
this
play.
year.
All right.
And then next year around this time, we're gonna come back and do another podcast with Mike, be
Yeah.
a guest for the second time, and we'll let you know who won. So real quick, because
You already know.
I know everybody wants to know your opinion about what took place with the Eagles
Do we
this
have
year.
to?
But before,
Yeah, okay.
we got to. That's
All
what
right.
you do.
All right.
But because you're right there, you see it firsthand. Every game, you're there, home and away.
Yeah.
Before you do that, though, I want you to talk about the new offensive coordinator and the new defensive coordinator real quick. Fangio.
So,
and,
Vic Fangio. What's interesting is, like, there's so many, like, when they bought Sean Desai in this year, and they said, oh, yeah, he's a Vic Fangio disciple. There are a lot of guys who have studied under Vic Fangio, and some of them are really good. But the cool
and
thing...
some of them aren't so good.
And some of them are not so good.
Sean Desai.
But
Did I say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is now, the guy that they're always talking about, the genuine article, we now have
Right.
Vic Fangio, who's the genuine article. All of these guys have studied his defense. Some of them run his defense or a hybrid of his defense, a version of it. But now having the genuine article, I think that's going to help this defense a whole lot. I know some of these guys wanted Denard Wilson to stay because they really liked him. He was really good. He went to Baltimore and he changed Baltimore's defense, and now he was a defensive backs coach in Philadelphia and in Baltimore.
Right.
He just got the defensive coordinator's job in Tennessee.
Well, he makes a big difference because
He's a
when he was
huge-
here last year, we were number one
That's right.
in pass defense last
That's right.
year. And then this year down in Baltimore, they were number
They were
one
number
in pass.
one.
He makes a big difference.
And Denard Wilson, not only is he a smart coach, he knows how to deal with the players.
Right. Well, that's what
and
individual
you have all these
coaching
guys,
is, yeah.
all these guys with all these backgrounds that are varied backgrounds, but this is a guy who understands how to talk to people, how to deal with people, even the toughest guys.
Mm-hmm.
He knows how to get to them and get them to play at their best level. James Bradbury was terrible.
Did you really bring him up? Yeah.
You're laughing.
Look, I can beat him right now. No, I can beat him right now.
Well, I believe
bring him
that.
on, bring him in here, line him up. I'll swat him like a little fly, and I'll beat Bradbury right now. I'm 61 years old, and I'll whoop your behind.
I believe that. So, but if you watched him play last year, he played like an all-pro last year.
Yeah, but didn't they play more zone last year, more cover two last year, more? He's not a man-to-man run down the field type.
I get that.
That's what he did with the Giants.
I get that. That's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is the guy that was coaching him, the guy that had him playing at his best, is the guy that went down to Baltimore, turned them around, and now he's a defensive coordinator.
Right.
You have to have the right tutelage. You have to have the right people that know how to speak the right language to get you to play your best ball. I do
let me ask you
believe that
this.
Vic Fangio is going to help this defense a whole lot.
If the Eagles,
I didn't get to the offense yet.
Okay, but wait. If the Eagles don't change any of their personnel, this is just a hypothetical question. If the Eagles don't change any of their personnel on defense right now, and they go into next season with the same personnel, will Vic Fangio be able to make this defense or bring it up from 31, 32, wherever it was at the bottom, somewhere in the middle, make it a better with the same personnel? For real?
So they're not going to have the same. They're not going to have the same personnel. So that's not even a good hypothetical.
It's a hypothetical question. Could he do that? Is he that type of coach that could coach these guys to a point to where they'll be able to play better than what they did? Because in my opinion,
let's hope so. So I think Denard Wilson could.
Well, yeah, the individual coach, the receiver coach.
I do.
Or defensive back
coach.
So
hopefully Fangio can get these guys to playing at a much higher level than they play at. And the offensive side,
he's old school too now. That was the problem that he had down in Miami. He had some guys
ticked off some guys because he wanted them to play the defense the way he wants them to play the defense.
Right, they want to do what they want to do.
Yeah, but that's the age that we're in.
Well, why do you think he's not going to have the same problems here then?
He will, but he'll get over them.
Okay.
The key is going to be veteran leadership. If Fletcher's still around, and I don't think he will be.
He won't be.
But the veteran leaders, Vic has to make sure that he has a good relationship with them. Because if they're leading, then the other younger guys will follow.
Right.
That's going to be the big key.
Right.
Can I go to the offense now?
That's the problem Belichick's having. He didn't have a good leader.
Belichick is just a hard dude to deal with.
Well, yeah. He can't connect. It was Tom Brady that connected with the players. He didn't connect with the players.
Yeah.
That was his problem.
It was Tom Brady. It was the position coaches.
Right.
Not Bill.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore.
He's he got to prove himself because he's from Dallas. So he's on the chopping block.
Yeah.
Doc.
No, he's on probation.
Yeah,
from the jump.
Double probation.
Yeah, he's on probation right away when he comes in. So I'm looking forward to seeing him put on something with the Eagles' wings on it. But when I look at the work that he did in Dallas, he was really good.
Yes, he was.
Like three of the 4 years that he was the coordinator in Dallas, he was one of the. He was in the top 5 offenses in all of football.
Yep.
And the 1 year, his quarterback got hurt, but that guy is a smart football mind, and it's an offense that's a pro-style offense.
Right. Down the field. So
he's got pro style.
He's got a mix, though.
You got to understand, like what we run now, what the Eagles run now.
Is RPO.
It's not a pro style.
It's not a pro style. So
it's a Saturday. It's a college offense.
He's got to combine the two somehow because he's got to put Jalen in a position to maximize what he does.
So with Kellen Moore now, with his skills and his understanding of the pro style offense, and you marry that with the RPO game, you got to have some of that in there now because a lot of teams do it. And when you have a guy that can run the way Jalen can run when he's healthy, you want that element in your offense. Right. But you also want to be able to sight adjust, something that you know about, I know about. Like when you're blitzing too many people. They had
none of that.
They had none of that. And what happens is, in this league, guys are so smart. The coordinators that you go against are so smart. When you're doing something that's new, they may not get it right away. Like Chip Kelly, when he came in, they didn't get it right away.
But they figured it out.
And they figured it out.
And he's out.
Just like the RPO game
Right,
now.
they figured it out.
They figured it out. They've
Yep.
had enough time to see it. They figured it out. They
Yep.
know how to handle it, and so it's not as effective.
Right.
And so now, what do you do? With Kellen Moore, he can use some of that, but he's also got this pro style, so he understands when they're blitzing too many and there's a void there, you attack the void.
attack the void,
It's
right.
as simple as that.
Yeah.
But coaches can only teach what they know.
Mm-hmm.
And Nick Sirianni knows what he knows, and so that's what he was teaching, and that's what we've been going with for the last 2 years.
Wait
Now
a minute,
you
wait
need
a minute,
more.
wait a minute. When you talk about the blitz and having sight adjust, that's elementary. That's something that goes in
So,
right at the beginning of training
Here's
camp.
the thing. They have,
And you telling me Nick
they have
Sirianni
a
doesn't have that in his
They
arsenal?
have sight adjustment in the offense, but
I never saw anybody do any sight adjustment.
Yeah, but you
when Jalen hurt
you
his,
don't understand what their sight adjustment is.
what is
then.
it, down the field, 14 yards?
No, it's that little bubble screen, that skinny
Oh
back.
man, that's not a sight adjustment.
Well,
you can't
that's
run
what
the ball.
you say. I'm telling you
Man.
that that's what their sight
And
adjustment
that's
is.
what Nick Sirianni's sight adjustment is. They should have fired his behind with the rest of them.
That's why he's bringing in someone who understands.
Because he doesn't. He ain't got it. He can't do
I
it.
just told you that. You can only teach what you know.
Oh my gosh.
What can
We
you-
got the wrong head coach, y'all.
No, as an overseer, as a guy who's running the entire operation, I think he'll do fine. But having a smart coordinator who can marry these two systems, I think it can be the difference.
This is the last question. We're gonna be out because we're over time, but we love you, man. We
Man,
we
I'm
love
going.
this.
I'm overtime.
No, no.
Do I get paid extra?
No, you don't get no extra.
I just want another cigar. That's all.
Will the Eagles?
Rum? Where's rum?
Will the Eagles be competitive next year?
What?
Will they?
Yes, absolutely.
You sure?
I'm mark it.
I hope so, man. Because I'm
What's
like,
the date? Mark it. Quick said it that they will be competitive. Yes, they will be.
I hope so, because man, it was frustrating. This hurt my it's been like 2-3 years now that I've been a fan.
Yeah.
And I can understand the frustration from the fans because it's really been
Dude,
depressing.
Me, I have to live through it too. I sit in that booth and sometimes I have to hit the mute because I'm saying all kind of things that I wouldn't want my mama to hear me say.
Well, because it's not that they lost. Listen, I was my second year in Miami, 11 games into the season. We were 9-2.
Yeah.
We were touted to go into the playoffs and Super Bowl favorites. 11 games into the season, we didn't win another game the rest of the season. We didn't make the playoffs. But we didn't lose like the Eagles lost those last games at the end of the season. We didn't get our behinds whooped like that. We didn't put our tail between our legs and just allow the team.
Is that what they did?
Yes, that's what they did. You saw their countenance. You saw.
Listen,
I
cannot
the energy.
I cannot
the lack
explain to you
thereof.
what happened.
I
Because
know
I
you
don't
can't
know.
explain.
I don't think it can be explained.
It almost looked to me like they just quit. That's what it looked like to me. Like they had their bags packed, their cars were packed, they were ready for the season to end, so they'd go home. That's what it looked like to me. Come on now. You're supposed to fight.
Okay.
You're supposed to fight. And I never saw from anybody that it even really mattered. Throw a helmet, kick over some water, something. Somebody do something that look like you're frustrated, look like, it matters to you.
I agree
None
with
of that ever happened. Nobody said anything.
I have to
Nobody
agree.
did anything.
I have to agree.
If that was me, somebody would have got something.
Yeah, you got to get in the fight at least.
Yeah, somebody would have got something.
You got to show more life. than
So, you heard it from Mike Quick. The Eagles are going to be competitive next year. We'll see. We'll see. Well, listen.
No, they're going to be good next year.
They're going to be good?
Yeah.
They don't have to be good. Just be competitive.
Listen, they're going to be once again a playoff team next year.
Okay.
Yeah, they will be.
All right. I'll be happy with that. Make a couple playoff games. Well, listen, brother. Always good having you, man. Always good having you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, anytime. You know that.
It's Mike Quick right here at the Fryar Place. We're live at the Code, 939 North Delaware Avenue, every first Friday of every month from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. It's us right here. Thanks for being with us. Hope we didn't take too long. It was a great time. Love this dude right here. We'll see you next first Friday here at the Code. Until then, we'll be on every Friday at 6 p.m. from the studio, the Fryar Place, where the conversations are fire. Peace out, y'all.
Deuces.